Hello and welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape. I'm your host, Tal, and where's William? Wait a minute, this isn't a Friday the 13th Part 3 episode. Mordo, what are you doing here?
Oh, I'm just stroking my beef till I'm off.
Ample start there, Mordo, I must say, because this is episode 69.
Yeah, I had to be here for episode 69 just to say, nice.
Yeah, of course. Well, I mean, I would have loved to have done Friday the 13th Part 3, the Part 3 episode of our Friday the 13th marathon that we've been doing this October. But
then why are we doing this? Why are we interrupting your little Friday marathon?
Well, there's only one movie that could have interrupted the Friday marathon, Mordo, and that movie is a little film I like to call Faust, Love of the Damned.
Oh my god.
Mordo, I needed you for this one because this movie is special. And I truly mean that.
Special bond with this one.
This movie is just it's become a staple of the podcast, even though this is my first time making an episode on it specifically. But like, it's been here since the beginning in a way. Like, it's been looming around, you know? It's one of those special movies that needs its own solo episode. You know, every once in a while in this podcast, a movie or something comes along that it just needs its own episode, like the Star Wars Holiday Special, like Morbius, like the 50 of the greatest cartoons VHS tape, like
or Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Or Manos, The Hands of Fate. Some movies are just so special that they need their own episode. So Faust here is getting its own solo episode. There's no double feature here.
Yeah,
Faust
sorry guys,
is just far
this is
too
another
special.
intermission episode from the Nolan anthology that we're doing.
Don't worry, we'll get to Interstellar someday.
Oh, there you go. There's your foreshadowing.
There's your tease. All right. Well, I think if we're going to start this episode, Mordo, we got to start at the very, very, very beginning.
Oh, yeah, let me just look it up. In the beginning, God created heavens and the earth. And then
Faust.
He decided to create Brian Usna, the great Faust, for some fucking reason.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, the beginning, this predates the podcast, this movie. So, obviously, I've said before, I'm a huge fan of Red Letter Media. I'm a huge fan of their series, Best of the Worst. That series is pretty much, it's a huge influence on this podcast, I must say.
And an influence of the shit we do on Saturday nights.
Yeah, exactly. It's a huge influence on us as people, but it's also a huge influence on the podcast. So, one day I was just binging through a bunch of episodes, and I come across an episode that features the titular movie Faust, and I start watching it. I start watching the episode, and I'm like, wow, this movie seems kind of bonkers. And I think to myself, you know what? Let me experience this movie for myself before I even continue the episode. So I pause the Best of the Worst episode. I find Faust on YouTube, of all platforms. I'm just going to say this right now. It is not, the upload I watched it on YouTube no longer exists. Like, YouTube cracked down on this movie being on their platform.
Damn.
Not saying I'm not disappointed. I'm just not surprised.
Hey, that's okay. We have other options, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah. So anyway, I found Faust, Love of the Damned on YouTube, and oh brother, it was quite the experience. It was Faust, man. That's the best way I can describe it.
I know it's Faust, but you know what it's not? Gex.
That's true. It is not Gex. So, anyway, this movie I've shown it to countless friends. Everybody I've shown, except you, Mordo, has hated it. Well, Lexi liked it, but I think we're the only 3 people in the world who genuinely like this movie. And even then, that genuine is in very big quotation marks, So,
Yeah, see, here's a little something you need to know, friends. Me and Hal have a unique friendship. If there's anything he's probably going to like, it's probably going to bounce off on me. Like, this.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
Nolan
exactly.
films that we're doing.
Yeah.
And, believe it or not, I fucking got back into Doug Walker thanks to Kikassia.
Listen, man, Doug is a must flow. Okay, it's
You know what?
they're funny
surrender.
videos.
I surrender.
I
You
know
win.
funny videos are funny videos. Damn it, I will not be told otherwise.
Tell what's his name, Sylvanator or whatever it is, the guy
Yeah.
whoever's the cult leader of Dougism, you win.
Yeah.
I salute my flag to you.
Exactly. But anyway, we've experienced Faust numerous times. Well, I have. Yesterday we watched it. You and me, we rewatched it to record a commentary, which will be going up in a couple of days.
Oh hell
It'll
yeah!
it'll probably be out by the time this episode's out. But anyway, we watched it.
To you Fate fans out there, we recorded this on Emiya Day.
Oh yeah, we did.
Well, the commentary,
yeah.
I mean, because my icon was Shiro Emiya from Fate Stay Night. Yeah, there's
exactly.
Hal, if you don't know, it's a running gag where on October 20th, every Fate fan changes their icon to Emiya for some reason.
You know what? I did notice that Jess changed her icon on her Discord server to that, so that makes sense. Now I know. But so we watched it last night. This was your third time watching it, my sixth time watching it, and
oh my god.
I know. Let me tell you, not only is it my sixth time watching it, it's my sixth time watching it in the past year. Like, I discovered this movie in early to mid 2022. I've watched this movie 6 times since then. Like, it's become an obsession of mine. I love this movie so much because it's so fascinating to me that a movie like this exists. You know, it just boggles the mind is what it does. There's a reason why it's a solo episode, because there's just so much to talk about that could just take up an entire episode. So
True.
Yeah, we might as well kick things off by explaining. So we watched it. It's a movie from director Brian Yuzna, who's directed a couple of films I've seen. He's directed a bunch. I still have yet not seen all of his filmography. I'll get to him, I'm sure, someday. I mean, honestly, from the movies I've seen from him, even the ones I don't like, I still am very curious to see the rest of his filmography because he's a very unique director, you know?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. I don't have the best knowledge of this guy besides this movie.
I know. Well, you know what? This movie, it pretty much it has to sell you on his filmography. But
oh yeah, definitely.
I will admit, I was never really that big into his movies from the ones I had seen beforehand. It was movies like Society and Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 4 that I had seen from him.
Okay, yeah, those I'm aware of.
Yeah, this is a bit of a hot take. I'm not the biggest fan of Society. It is due for a rewatch. It's due for an episode all on its own. It's something I definitely need to talk about and explain my big problems with it. But I at least understand the strengths that the director has when I see a movie like that. Strengths that are definitely apparent in Faust. Now, whether or not I'd say Faust is a better movie than Society, that's a bit of a debate that I really don't want to have. In terms of which movie I respect more because of how fascinatingly insane it is, Faust wins every time because Faust is just it's just Faust, you know? Like,
yeah,
we really haven't even explained what happens in the movie, but like, you know, there's just so much to explain, man. There's just so much to this movie. Like, how about we start at the very beginning? How the movie opens.
Yeah. So, in the beginning, God created... I'm not doing this fucking joke again. Oh, no.
Yeah. But anyway, so the film starts with our main character, John Jaspers. Or is it Jasper Johns? You know what? I've seen this movie 6 times. I still don't know. The movie's very confused.
John G. Wait a minute.
John...
No, wait. Fuck. I'm just referencing Memento again. Damn it. I have a condition, guys. Sorry.
So it's John Jaspers, which is a very comic book kind of name. Which, to be fair, this movie is based off of a real-life comic book called Faust, who was a comic hero in like the late 80s, early 90s. He actually predates Spawn, even though people would probably say he's a Spawn ripoff because, well, Spawn got a bigger movie than Faust was. Because, like,
oh yeah, the people. I guess that'd be a great. I guess that makes sense for a comparison. But for me, I just say, think of Batman, Morbius, and a fucking Wolverine, and just add hell into it, mix it all together. What do you get?
You get Faust. Yeah, exactly. But I think the more direct comparison would be Spawn, because it is a guy who sells his soul to the devil, and then now he's like the devil's minion, and he has like a really cool costume. Well, cool costume. So I feel like this one, I have not seen Spawn. I know it's from the director Mark A.Z. DePay, who's also a staple of this podcast, as he's directed Frankenfish and Garfield Gets Real and Marmaduke 2022. So someday we'll get to Spawn, but right
remind
now,
me of Gets Real.
Yeah, don't worry. We're just here for Faustin time.
It's Faustin time, and I Faust all over the place.
Yeah. So anyway, John Jaspers is your normal average artiste who gets his girlfriend murdered.
All right, let's start. Let's do this one last time. My name is John Jaspers, and for the last 24 hours, I am the one and only Faust. I'm sure you know the rest. My girlfriend gets killed, sold my soul to the devil, and now I cosplay as Wolverine for some fucking reason.
I mean, that's essentially what happens. Like, so this movie's told in flashbacks, though, unfortunately. So the first scene we get is of John Jaspers, like, waking up and realizing his girlfriend's dead. And then he goes to a bridge, thinks about killing himself, and then the title drops, and it's, like, playing this just hardcore goth rock, this hardcore heavy metal. Like, that's the thing with this movie. The soundtrack is just full of the most hardcore heavy metal you have ever heard, and it's so funny every time. You hear the guitar feedback, you hear the guys like screaming their heads off into the microphone. It is the exact kind of music you would hear in a movie like this, so it fits beautifully. So then after the credits roll, then we get introduced to John Jaspers in a straitjacket because he's at the mental hospital. But then it rewinds a little. Go ahead.
I was crazy once. They locked me in a room, a rubber room. The rubber room filled with rats. The rats drove me crazy. Crazy? I was crazy once. I'm not gonna repeat the dumb joke. If you know it, you know it.
So anyway, then it flashbacks from the mental hospital to when we're introduced to Lieutenant Margolis, played by Jeffrey Combs, who's been in a couple of Usna productions and has been in a bunch of other movies. But anyway, what's most important is he's in Faust, Love of the Damned. And he's playing Lieutenant Margolis, who gets called into a embassy, and the cops are just surrounding this embassy, and all of a sudden blood starts leaking out of the building, and so then Lieutenant Margolis goes in. And then we're introduced to Faust, except not really, because he's not in his iconic Faust outfit yet. He only has the Wolverine claws because he's dressed as John Jaspers. And boy howdy, then it just cuts back into the mental hospital where Margolis is like trying to question John Jaspers, like, hey, why did he cut up all these people at this embassy? You know, like, the movie is very confusing at first. If you haven't seen it 6 times before, like I have, you have no idea what's going on.
In to be fair, you need to like rewatch this a couple of times to understand Faust, but not have a very high IQ.
No, if anything, my IQ has gone down significantly ever since discovering this movie, unfortunately. So, I want to also mention that I actually watched this movie with director's commentary about a week ago, and I took a couple of notes because I discovered some really interesting things So we'll get back into the plot synopsis in a bit. Let me just say, so Brian Yuzna, that's how you say his name. At first I thought it was Brian Yuzna. It's Yuzna. That's how you pronounce it, Yuzna. I want people to get that right because I respect Mr. Yuzna so much. Fair. During his director's commentary, he was the most chill and mellow guy I have ever heard. And it was really fascinating to hear because when you watch Faust and you hear this calm, soothing voice being like, yeah, this was quite a difficult movie to make, but I thought it was pretty worth it. You know, we filmed this in Barcelona, Spain. It was really quite interesting. It's just like, dude, you made a movie like Faust. How are you not like bouncing off the walls that John Jaspers is in right now? How are you not in the straitjacket John Jaspers is in right now? You made Faust. You should be clinically insane.
Insane? I was insane. Well, I'm not. I'm done.
Yeah, that's okay. So anyway, they filmed the movie in Barcelona, Spain. And it's really funny because you can tell there's a lot of British and Spanish actors who clearly don't know how to do a right American accent. And so you get some really goofy performances, especially from our main character, John Jaspers / Faust. The actor's name is Mark Frost, and by golly, he's putting his all into it, even though he looks like a goofball like 90% of the time. You know what I mean? Like the scenes of him in the straitjacket, and he's just like going semi-cross-eyed. He's just like, he looks like he's like taking a shit every once in a while. It's fascinating to watch, you know?
Yes.
The other thing I want to bring up, because this movie is so weirdly edited, because it's told in flashbacks at first, the director, this is really fascinating. I wanted to bring this up. So Brian, Mr. Yuzna, had the idea that he wanted like the movie to be told 3 separate ways. And this is interesting. So he wanted the 3 characters that we're introduced to as like different perspectives on the whole situation that we're in. So there's Margolis, played by Jeffrey Combs. There's Jasper's perspective, obviously, because he's the main character. And then you have Jade's perspective, who Jade is the main character's love interest. Dr. DeCamp, the character who we'll get to later on because there's quite a bit of a messed up backstory with her, which the movie thinks is really cool, but it's kind of in bad taste. I'm just kidding. It's really in bad taste, I'll say that.
Oh, fuck, we never took that seriously. What the fuck is wrong with us?
We'll get to it, don't worry. So, but what's interesting is that the way Yuzna was describing it, like, the movie from Margolis's perspective is like an action movie. The movie from Jade's perspective is sort of like a thriller movie. And then Jasper's perspective is sort of like a horror movie, you know? Like every character's perspective of evil is different. Yeah, because that's why when like Margolis is on screen, like the camera's a little more action oriented. When Jade's on screen, the movie's a little more thriller oriented. And when Jasper's is on screen, it's edited more like a horror film. Now, I'll be completely honest, I got 0% of that while watching the movie. I'm like, okay, I see what you're going for, but that's not at all what I'm seeing. You know, because like the movie is just edited like any other late 90s, early 2000s horror film where you got like the quick cuts, the like zoom, zoom, like the flashing and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
transitions are wild here. Like
they're so wild.
Let's talk about the opening scene. How like, Mongolius, like he was at the crime scene, right? Next thing he turns around and he's at the fucking hospital.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's that transition. So, like, yeah, we start off with him being at the hospital. Then he relays what happened at the embassy. So it's like him at the embassy for like a couple of minutes. And then all of a sudden, he's like still at the embassy. And then he like turns his head and all of a sudden he's back at the hospital. It was like, what? Whoa, okay.
Teleportation, yeah.
Yeah, getting a little fancy with the editing there, Yuzna. I dig it. Kind of, sort of, not really. So anyway, we spend the first like good chunk of the first part of this movie at this hospital, which, according to Brian, during the director's commentary, was saying that it was actually filmed at an abandoned hospital outside of Barcelona.
Abandoned?
And so, yeah,
wow.
so it was this like abandoned hospital. It was really creepy, apparently, because there was a bunch of dead animals everywhere, and next door from the hospital was this school for autistic children, and apparently those children would parade through, like, every day, and he was like, yeah, it was a really creepy vibe, and I'm just like, what are you talking about, dude? Like, why are you just dropping this and just saying this so normally? It was just so out of nowhere. Like, what? I thought the most cursed aspect of this movie was supposed to be what's on screen, not behind the scenes. You know, like, why are you bringing this up?
Just funny to think how this batshit insane of a movie, it was created by a normal human being.
Yeah, honestly, it's so weird. So anyway, we get some scenes of John Jaspers. I want to say Mark because that's the actor's name. But anyway, so John and Jade are kind of talking. So Jade is this psychologist. She starts off as a psychologist character where she like walks in to like kind of get through to John because, well, he just murdered a bunch of people at the embassy. Like, you know, the police want to know what the fuck is up with this guy. And so Jade walks in with a basket full of CDs, and her way to get through to John is to just play classical music.
And then she puts on heavy metal music, and then he just goes apeshit.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, when, you know, John is like, so obviously John is like, you know, biting his finger and like drawing shit all over the wall with his bloody finger. Then he notices that she has a heavy metal CD within her CDs of classical music. And it's just like, why do you have that, lady? Like, aren't you you're a musical therapist. Why do you have heavy metal music? Like, it's just so then when she puts on the heavy metal music, like, he hears it and he gets flashbacks to when his girlfriend is getting killed. But, like, why did she have that in the first place? Question mark?
I would have just thought, I could have probably had a Mandela effect thinking about it, but I thought I saw someone, like, place the CD on top of it. Like, you dropped something or something, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, that would have been interesting, but the movie didn't do that.
No. I can't remember. Condition.
You do have a condition. That's okay. But anyway, yeah. So then we get the actual flashback of when John Jaspers is like painting and his girlfriend gets killed by a bunch of hired goons because, I don't know, she owes them money or something like that. Whatever.
It's like Kingpin.
One of them looks like Kingpin. One of them looks like Eric Andre with the face of Orlando Bloom.
Yeah.
So anyway, the girlfriend gets axed off. So sad. So then we cut to John. He's thinking of committing suicide over the bridge, over a river of water. Except,
so we want to talk about the bridge.
Let's talk about the bridge.
All right, let's talk about the bridge. So
the bridge
is a fucking crazy Mandela effect we've had.
So the bridge in this movie is like in Barcelona somewhere. And apparently, even though in the movie it's specifically over a body of water, you know, kind of akin to like the bridge in It's a Wonderful Life when George Bailey's thinking of like offing himself and he like jumps off the bridge. Like, no, that bridge in real life is above a bunch of train tracks. And when Brian like revealed that in the commentary, it blew my mind because I'm like, what? Like, it was the most shocking thing I had ever heard. It was like, are you serious? Like, what? What a weird thing to bring up.
I love, of all things that make you flabbergasted, it's just a bridge of all things.
I don't know why, but like, it's just so fascinating to me because it's like, okay, why did you change it from trains to a river then? Like, what was the point? I can't even. Like, it's just such a weird thing to change. Because, like, a tall bridge is a tall bridge. It shouldn't matter what's at the bottom there. I don't know. I might be overthinking this, but my goodness. Wow.
Faust, ladies and gentlemen. The film that just keeps on giving.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, the bridge scene is when we're introduced to M, played by Andrew Didoff, who is the main villain.
Yeah, if you look at him, he just looks like fucking Palpatine. I'm sorry. That's my headcanon. Palpatine just became the devil.
He looks like Palpatine dressed like if he was in the Matrix, because he has like the dark glasses, the dark attire. It's very late 90s, early 2000s Matrix-esque. Let's say that. So then M introduces himself and is just like, hey, you're thinking of killing yourself? That's cringe, dude. Why don't you come work for me? Sell your soul to me and I'll let you get superpowers so then you can kill the people who killed your girlfriend. And John Jaspers is like, okay, sure. So then he signs a contract and now he's Faust. So he gets Wolverine blades. And
all right, you're Wolverine now.
Yeah. so then he goes to the hired goons, and we get the amazing line read when he like approaches one of the hired goons and is just like, I'm here to kill you, or something like that. I don't really remember what he says. I'm too distracted by what the hired goon says, where he goes, you stupid fuck, you want I kill you?
I was hoping you were going to bring that up, but yes, it's a brilliant writing. Why is this film not awarded yet?
Yeah, I don't know if something went wrong in translation or whatever. I don't know how they screwed that up, but I'm glad that they screwed it up because it is brilliant. I
wish we had more moments like that where it's just like misread dialogue.
I know. You stupid fuck, you want I kill you. I love it so much. So then he's able to show off his little Fausty powers where he can like stab people with his long Wolverine claws. I love this shot where like he goes up to like the main goon and he like has the severed heads of the hired goons on the claws and he's just like, what's the matter? Don't like my art?
Oh, Spider-Man, help me! Oh.
And then he kills him. And then he's just like, I got the heart. He goes to M with the heart of the hired goons and he's just like, all right.
Like, what the fuck? I asked for ground beef, not a meat of hot. I can't make beef strong enough with this. You fuck. All right, for your punishment, eat that thing. I'm not eating that. That's your dinner.
Yeah. So all of a sudden, now John Jaspers is just like, all right, I don't want these powers anymore, even though M specifically said, I own your soul forever now. And he's just like, that wasn't part of the deal, even though it was. So,
sorry,
dumbass.
There's no refunds.
Yeah, no refunds, exactly. Except there is a refund at the end. But we're not there yet. So now we're all caught up. Now we're all caught up. Now we know exactly the backstory of Faust. He was an idiot. He sold his soul to the devil. He killed a bunch of people. Now we're all caught up. And we get a really cool transition, actually, where like John Jasper's eyes like transition into like the lights in the padded cell he's in with Jade. That was a really cool transition. Like, that's the thing with this movie. On top of its really edgy nature, where it's just doing whatever the fuck it wants, it occasionally has a really neat directing moment. Like that editing trick that we mentioned earlier, where like Margolies transitions from the embassy to the hospital. Like, and there's that fade in where like the eyes kind of become the lights in the padded cell. That's really cool.
Yeah, that was actually like really cool. Like, bravo, Yunzna.
Yeah, bravo, Brian.
Bravo, Brian.
So then, what happens next? Okay, so Jade is trying to find out more information on John Jaspers, and so she leaves the cell, goes to find his like file that the hospital has for some reason, and so then the hired goons come and take him away from the hospital, and M is burying him in the graveyard. This is the graveyard burying scene. So for whatever reason,
like, you give this man powers, and then like next minute later, it's just like, you know what? I don't want him around anymore. Just get the fuck rid of him.
Yeah, and not only does he do that, he buries him with his razor claws. Like
surely you're not gonna use those to like climb out of there or anything like that. And then minutes later, how fuck he got out.
So yeah, so he's buried alive. We get some scenes between Jade and Margolies, like trying to solve the mystery. You know, Margolies is like researching the hand because apparently there's like a cult in this movie. You know, they just needed more scenes. They needed more scenes of Jeffrey Combs like looking up stuff on early internet. It was, that's when the movie doesn't really shine. It's just kind of boring. But we're getting to the good stuff. Trust me. Like, that's the thing. There's good stuff. So then we get Faust being buried, and now he's in hell, and there's a bunch of skeleton puppets like, thrashing at him, like this skeleton spider puppet thing, like
Yeah.
yeah. So because he was buried with his razor claws, he's able to explode the skeleton, and he rises out of the grave. Now, this is a really cool shot where you get the scene of like the graveyard, like the gravestone has like AUS, and then there's like some notches like surrounding it, and then like his claws rise out of like the ground, and the shadow from the claws create lines to make it say Faust on the gravestone. Which, look,
that goes hard.
Mr. Yuzna, that goes hard. But like, what the fuck does AUS mean? Like, why was that on a gravestone? Why are there notches so then you can like spell out Faust with the shadows? Well, why? Also, it just occurred to me, he's never called Faust in the movie, is he?
Oh, fuck, you're right.
So, what does this mean? Like, I don't know. I don't understand, like, what is happening with that scene. But you know what? It's a hard shot, nonetheless. It deserves to be on One Perfect Shot, on the One Perfect Shot Twitter account. I don't know if that still exists anymore, but it deserves it because it's really fucking cool.
I don't know. You quitted it.
I did. So, then we get Jade just like trying to talk with Margolis at like some cafe, but then a bunch of hired goons come and she runs away. And so then she's in a back alley. Oh no, she's really done for. But all of a sudden, we get it in all its glory. Faust in full costume. And Mordo,
Woo!
how epic is this costume?
It's beautiful.
it's so beautiful.
It's God's beauteous creation on this wonderful world.
It's so at first it like zooms in on him and he goes, uh-oh. And it's very maskish. Like, it's very Jim Carrey maskish where like he's just like kind of goofing off with these people. He's like just stabbing them. He's like, there's this one really cool effect shot where he like stabs his claws and like dude's eyes come popping out. That's really cool. He like slices the head off of one of the other hired goons and he starts making out with the severed head.
For a movie like this, it really has some like interesting kills that I would love to see like a dead meat kill count on this.
Yeah, it would be really cool to see. So anyway, he like definitely tussles up these hired goons. Some of them get away. Jade is saved. And so then he's all in his glorious makeup. And then we cut to, what do we cut to? We cut to like a scene where like, I think Margolis is like doing something. Oh, I think it's like when Margolis and Jade are like talking, because Jade's just like, all right, this dude, like John Jaspers, he is like insane. Like he's covered in all this makeup. He is insane. But then Mordo.
Oh,
the next scene.
No.
So,
oh boy, here we are.
I have to set this up, Mordo, because set it up. This scene is what this movie's all about. Like, this is the scene. This scene is why I show this movie to people. This is the scene this is why I've seen this movie 6 times already.
Oh, that's your reason. That's your fucking
because
reason.
I love showing this scene to people, because it is the fact that a scene like this exists in a movie just brings me so much joy, because I can use it to just troll people, to just be like, this is a movie, guys. This was made by a guy. Movie. This was made by a man who sounds so normal. Like, this is why I'm so shocked that a man as normal sounding as Brian Yuzna, who just sounds like a regular old guy, he just sounds like a nice guy you can just like go up and like have a cup of coffee with. It's like, no, he made this scene. And it shocks me.
Someone had to animate all this. Someone got paid for this. Let that sink
exactly. Yeah. So let me set this up.
Yeah, you talk your shit, King, like you're not saying.
Yeah. One of the hired goons goes back to M's mansion, which, by the way, his mansion has like a gigantic letter M above the doors. So, he's not very conspicuous with where he lives. But anyway, one of the hired goons goes up to Claire, M's assistant, who's like this very horny, very sexual character. She's the femme fatale, if you will, where like she's using her sex appeal to like get her way. You see that all the time in noir films. So he's talking, so the hired goon is like talking to Claire, and Claire's just like kind of coming on to him, like being all sexual around him, and he's just like, oh, hell yeah. And so then they start having sex on the dining room table, as one does. And one of the hired goon like lets it slip out that the guy who attacked him had razor claws, and M just so happens to be listening in, and he's like, razor claws? Wait a minute. I know a guy with razor claws. I thought he was dead.
Oh, fuck, he got out. Why did I think putting his laser claws in his grave would be a good idea? I knew he was just gonna cry out of that.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
But before he can go to talk to the hired goon any further, Claire takes a knife and slices his neck as he's climaxing, and now he's dead.
Necrophilia sex.
Yeah. So then Claire is just being a nuisance to M, and here's where M is supposed to establish his power, to show that, like, you don't fuck with M. You don't do that because he can fuck you up real badly.
Oh, God, here we go.
So, what does he do? What in this situation does he do to prove his power to little old Claire?
Trust me, you're never gonna guess it.
No, I could never have guessed it. So let me explain as best as I can. And people, I'm telling you, I am 100% serious when I talk about this. Please do not consider me a crazy person. I am not making this up. So, what he does, first off, he expands her breasts. I know already people are just like, are you fucking kidding me? But like, trust me, it gets worse. The breasts.
Get a commentary. You can watch this with us if you want to and see it for yourself. And then come back to us with an apology video playing the ukulele.
Play the ukulele.
I was wrong. You were right. That shit was real. And now I need to bleach my eyes.
Exactly. So the breasts grow big, and they just keep growing and growing and growing, as does her ass. To the point that she becomes...
You may think to yourself, oh, damn, that's kind of hot, like the fucking art I like to see on certain sites. No.
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 No, this gets worse, dude. I'm sorry to break it to you.
It gets so massive, and so it becomes what we like to call a tit puddle. That is... There's no other way of describing it. That's what it is. It is just a puddle of titties. And it's gross. It's disgusting, and I applaud that this movie actually went through with that. They actually showed a tit puddle in a movie like this. Not that I'm not surprised, I'm just weirdly proud of this movie for doing that. And this is the scene every time I pay attention to the reactions. And 90% of the time I hear these reactions from people, it is mostly people going like, what the fuck? Get me out of here. I don't want to see this. This is the worst. I hate you. Like, I hear a lot of I hate yous whenever
I'm gonna kick your ass.
Exactly. Exactly. This is the scene that made William want to kick my ass. William.
You know what? I just want to take a moment. I'm gonna take a moment. And, like, we'll get back to the review, but like, I just want to take a moment and just read off everyone's review.
Please.
I want to do that.
Absolutely. No, please, by all means. Like, the people need to know.
Yes. All right. So, let's go with friends. So, you want me to read off yours as well, or just ignore them?
People can look up mine. I want to spread the love of all our friends, giving off their reactions to this movie.
From our good pal Amber, I hope whoever made this movie gets arrested. Half star.
Yeah.
William, Hal, I'm going to kick your ass. 1.5 stars. Jess, I closed the stream for like 5 seconds, but hearing everyone's reactions to VC was funny, I guess. 0.5 star. And honestly, Jess, good. You dodged the bullet, because I don't think I would even want you to see the tit puddle scene. I don't want you to curse your eyes. Puff, adding a half star to the softcore lesbian beating in the subboard scene. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Oh yeah, Alexia. Faust made $1,000,000,000 domestically made, more past than 75.58 million more than $1,000,000,000 realities. That's like 75.58 M times 1,000,000,000,000,000. 5 stars.
Yeah.
Mr. Bamison. How do I unsee a movie? Star and a half. Buster. While not as gross as some of my buds hyped it up to be, it was very gross. Sometimes it's cool, gross, sometimes oof. Fun, shocky time, though. 2 stars. William. My man looks like a Sum 41 album. And then Faust Night was a success, also by Buster, star and a half. Me, I said... Okay, well... my recent one was, guys, listen, this is a good movie. And then the second time I watched it was, this was my Gex, because I like to think that, you know that guy, you know how Jeb from Scott the Wasp is obsessed with Gex. This is me with Faust.
Yeah, exactly.
And then my first one was like, I'll save that till the end.
Sure.
I'll save that till the end.
Sure.
But I think like at least with 2 more. James. Fun for the whole family.
You heard it here first, folks. Schaeferless Productions thinks Faust is fun for the whole family.
And last but not least, Olivia.
Ooh.
This is the series finale of me watching movies.
Yeah, we did it. So, this is why I had to have you on, because realistically, you're the only person who would have watched this movie more than once, other than me. Like,
yeah.
Everybody else, and to be honest, I don't blame them. Everybody else hates this movie. I mean, when a scene like the tit puddle scene happens, I completely 100% understand. Like, oh mama, it is quite honestly, like, it changes you as a person, this scene, okay? Because you don't think that a movie with millions of dollars behind it would even attempt something so grotesque, but they did. And I'm shameful to admit it, but I am proud of this movie for doing that. It was something so gross, yet they still went ahead and made it, like, put it in visual form on the silver screen. There are people who watch this movie on the big screen, and I just can't imagine. I just can't imagine being in the theater seeing that for the first time. That sounds amazing.
Wish I was there.
Yeah. And just to top it off, the cherry on top of this gorgeous, disgusting, depraved scene is Brian Usna saying, yeah, I see it as a comedic scene. It was very fun, you know. Monica was a good sport about this scene. The Monica being the actress who played Claire, who became the tit puddle. Oh my god. Yeah. Again.
Wow.
It's Brian Usna, such a normal sounding guy, called it his comedic scene.
Normal person, ladies and gentlemen.
Normal person.
Normal human being.
Yeah. So anyway, back to the story, because I know you people are probably interested to hear more of this movie after a scene like that.
They don't make them like they used to anymore.
They really don't. They really, really don't. So
what happened to Shame?
Yeah. So then we get the scene of Jade kind of giving a little bit of backstory to her, where she's at home. She's kind of under protection from the police and Margolis, and we get a little backstory to her. She was molested as a kid. That old fun chestnut. God. Yeah. This movie attempts that, which kind of goes into why I find this movie so fascinating as a failure, because shocking to say, but a movie with tit puddle does not handle these themes very well,
No? I mean, how do you expect us to take this movie seriously after that fucking scene.
Exactly. And they drop that after, again, tit puddle. It's just, it boggles the mind. I also want to mention the actress who plays Little Jade was in the movie Bird Box Barcelona. And
God, we talked about this.
The only
we
reason
talked about this in the
The only reason I watched Bird Box Barcelona was because she was in it. I was like, I need to see what actors in this movie, what the other movies that actors were in besides Faust, because I think that's the funniest fucking thing in the world. So, yeah, she plays Little Jade. She was in Bird Box Barcelona as one of the first people who dies, and her spirit goes into heaven. Because that's
yeah. Like, I think, like, okay, so you were showing this to some folks in your server. We didn't watch this on a wheel night.
No.
But we had to, like, play, like, a few clips of it just to see, like, what the hell you experienced, and wow. Wow.
The only reason I consider it better than the first Bird Box is because, well, the first Bird Box is terribly boring and just all around miserable. At least Bird Box Barcelona is also miserable and boring, but it has like nuggets of so bad it's funny, and that is one of the aspects, is that, you know, every time a person dies, their spirit like gets vomited out of their head and they just go up into heaven. I'm not making it up. It actually happens like that. Oh, Bird Box Barcelona. What a picture. So anyway, we're introduced to Jade's backstory, where, you know, she's molested by essentially Cum Man, because it's like you don't know who it is. It's heavily implied, but we'll get to that later. But all you see is like this, it's this distorted figure with like melted like goop all over his face. We call him Cum Man because that's what he is. Like, there's no way around it.
Realistic Slender Man.
Yeah.
As I recently came up with.
Yeah, exactly. But then Faust comes in to, you know, stop all this backstory nonsense and, again, show off how, like...
You having a flashback? Cringe.
Yeah, so then he comes in and, you know, the police officers see him, and so then he starts slicing them up, and Jade runs away, and what does he say, Mordo?
Why don't you just admit it? I'm the pornography that gets you hot.
Exactly. The best line in the movie. It's amazing. Like, who came up with that? Who? Yuzna? Like, Brian, tell me, who came up with that, please?
Whoever wrote that, you deserve an award.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of award, but I thank you.
It's so good.
You've given us God's gift to this beautiful world.
It is so good because it is so funny and it is so truthful. Like, it is the exact kind of line you would expect in a movie like this. So anyway, Jade runs away into the subway, and we get the iconic subway scene where Faust is on a subway and just slicing dudes up. It was amazing. Like, it is so poorly shot because it is edited like an early 2000s movie where lights are flashing for no reason, just to, you know, get you all excited, even though if you have epilepsy you can't watch it because it's just so badly lit. And Faust is just like saying things like he's the coolest motherfucker around, but nothing will top the pornography line. Like, he just keeps going, like,
honestly, or anything in general. Like, you cannot just come up with a line with that and just top it. Like, no other movie is ever going to top that. He
just has such weird one-liners. Like, there's that scene where like the cops approach him on the subway and he just goes, "Hello, piggies, welcome to my show," and you're just like, what? Like, was that supposed to be badass? Like, what was that?
A show. This is a movie, my dude.
Yeah, it was just so weird. Like, everything he says sounds like he's trying to make it a catchphrase, but it's not quite there because it's not the pornography that gets you hot line. Like, I'd buy that on a t-shirt, but not the...
Same.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, then Jade goes to him because he's so convinced, Faust, that, you know, everybody works for M and that he's the only person that Jade can trust. Him, Faust, the devil boner in the fucking costume with the claws and the devil horns and the long cape made of his own skin.
Like, not just say devil boner.
Hey man, I'm critic pilled. What can I say?
I knew it. That's a critic reference. God damn it.
Yeah. So anyway, then we get even more backstory with Jade. Well, do we? I don't remember. Whatever. The movie's starting to lull a little more because we haven't gotten to the insane climax. So we might as well just say that, okay, so Jade and Faust are together. Margolis goes to M's house because that's where the shady people are hanging out. So M has a whole group of people hanging out at his house that are just like, the shady rich people. One of them is the
shadow government.
The shadow government, essentially. Yeah, because the police commissioner is there. There's
he looks like an Alfred for some reason.
Yeah, he looks like Alfred from like Batman. There's like a bunch of these.
He would look like he'd fit in a Batman movie as the role of Alfred.
Yeah, exactly. There's a whole bunch of like rich people there. There's this little person who I have to bring this up. The little person actor in this movie, Brian Yuzna, made it a point to point this out, was a famous porn actor from Barcelona.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
I know, right? Like, that's what this movie is. It just keeps on giving you the weirdest shit. So anyway, M kills off the police commissioner because he wasn't that loyal or something. I don't know. And then Margolis is turned because he realizes M is the truth. But we don't know that yet because he calls up Jade and is just like, hey, Jade, come to M's house. The mansion where there's a gigantic M above the door. That's where he lives. I don't know if you knew that. So she goes to see M, and she's like walking around M's office, and this is the scene where like you see like he has like pictures of him photoshopped with Hitler.
This is real. Kid you not. Watch the movie yourself.
Yeah, he's just photoshopped with Hitler. So now he's really evil. As if the rest of the movie you had no idea he was the villain. Now because he's been pictured with Hitler. Like it's amusing to say the least. So then Jade realizes, oh no, I've been caught. And this is when so this is what happens, because again, like this is when the movie starts to pick up a little more speed. So Claire and M's doctor assistant decide to double cross him. So apparently, like, even though he's like this demon, he for some reason is like in a human body and needs like some sort of drug injected into him so then he can survive in that human body. But it's like, why not just be in your demon body? Like it makes no sense.
Yeah,
but
I get you don't need to blend in.
I guess it's to show that he has some sort of weakness, but like, I don't know. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, the doctor is like supposed to be like injecting him with some sort of like fluid or cure or something. I just said it was heroin because why the fuck not? But apparently because he and Claire are double crossing him, they like mix in something else into the elixir that he's being injected with. And for some reason, this like makes him grow like testicles on his face, and then he dies. He gets his goo all over the doctor. He dies, and then Claire comes in to take over. She shoots him by going like, "Honey, I want the divorce," and like completely obliterates his back. And this is when,
my back.
Yeah, and this is when Claire takes Jade hostage, puts her in a gigantic cage. And essentially, this is when the BDSM lesbian scene starts. So
yeah, and just to repeat, Pup's review, adding a star just for the softcore lesbian BDSM porn scene.
Yeah, exactly.
I accidentally spoiled earlier. My bad.
No, it's okay, because like even when you know things are coming, you can't comprehend what they're gonna actually be until they need to be seen to be believed, is what I'm saying.
Exactly.
You know? So anyway. Fun fact about the BDSM scene. They actually got a real dominatrix to get like all that stuff in that scene. And apparently the dominatrix was trying to get Brian Yuzna to like participate into some of these things, and he was having none of that, but other crew members were down for that, and Brian described the whole situation as amusing. Like, the things he's describing it in such, like, passe nature, but, like, the things he's saying, man, you just, if you were in that situation, you'd be like, I need to get the fuck out of here, clearly. Like, but anyway, this is the scene where, Claire is, like, torturing Jade. There is a really cool scene, actually, a really cool shot during the scene where, so M is, like, lying down on the ground and, like, his hand is kind of, like, turned or whatever. So then, like, the camera, like, focuses in on the hand and it, like, turns around and, like, the body gets up in a way that, wasn't like that to begin with. It's a really cool shot because it's, like, done so, like, really... It's done. It's like there's no CGI in that scene. It's like all camera tricks and body contortion or something like that. It's actually really cool. It's hard to describe. You just need to see it to believe it. Like, you know what scene I'm talking about.
Huh?
But anyway, then we get the reveal. So I'm just gonna say trigger warning because this is very fucked up. But it's revealed that Jade's whole come man monster was her dad the whole time. So she was molested by her dad, and that's her backstory. And
we have no idea how his face got fucked up to like.
So it's supposed to look like that because it's supposed to be representative of the fact that she like kind of hid that memory away and like just plain forgot about it just because she didn't want to remember it. And like,
well, she could have done a better imagination with it instead of like
yeah, exactly. But the reason she remembers it is because Claire is like torturing her sexually to make her remember, and it's just like, okay. Again, movie, you had a tit puddle scene. You're kind of fumbling the bag with these really heavy themes right now. We can't take you seriously. But luckily...
I don't think anyone can take it seriously anymore after like that scene. Like,
yeah, no.
You're not going to make me just forget that, right?
Yeah, no.
How am I supposed to... Yeah.
It's aspects like this that just make me fearful of this movie. I'm just like... Who thought of this? Like, the tit puddle is one thing, but this whole child molestation backstory, it's like, okay, this is weird. Like, really, really, really weird. But, again, Brian Yuzna the whole time is just like, yeah, we were thinking of giving her a backstory. And, I think it really adds to her character. And I'm just like, dude, are you seeing what you're making here right now? What are you doing?
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah. Luckily,
God.
Luckily, the scene is over because then M comes in because he apparently survived. He got better. I don't know.
I lived, bitch.
Yeah, exactly. So then we get to Faust waking up. Yeah, what happens? It's like, Faust wakes up.
Oh, and by the way, Jane's like fucking converted as like a sex lord now. A sex.
Yeah, now she's a sex freak, even though she was like this dignified doctor, psychologist earlier. But it's because she has like that tragic backstory. It's just like, okay, great. Now she's a...
I must explain my tragic backstory to you. Yeah. You see, when I was I'm not actually repeat backstory in Doofenshmirtz's voice. That'd be fucked up.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, Faust wakes up, realizes Jade's gone, contemplates suicide again, I guess. But then he has a flash forward, not a flashback, a flash forward to when Jade is
a shulk vision.
To when Jade is at the ritual that's coming up, and that's when he puts on another one of his fart faces that the actor does so brilliantly, and he's ready to fight. And thus we get to the climax, Mordo. We're almost there.
Oh boy.
So you think we've seen it all, right?
No, we haven't.
No, we haven't. Wrong. We have yet to begin with the ritual. So, the whole movie has been building up to this ritual. M wants to take over the world, and he can only do it on this specific night and with the birth of a homunculus. Why? God, I wish I knew, but I really don't because the movie doesn't explain it very well. But to be honest, this is a movie with a tit puddle. I was not expecting it to explain it very well anyway. So, fun fact about the ritual scene, it's filmed in a church that was right next to the weird abandoned hospital.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
They just had all their sets just right next to each other.
Yeah, very convenient filming location. I guess we should be filming more movies in Barcelona. Is what we should be learning from this film.
No, just in this little section. We got the hospital right here. We got that church. We're Gucci.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, then we get to the ritual, which is where we have we have Tit Puddle Lady Claire tied up to this cross. She's completely naked, covered in mud, and M goes up to her, punctures her stomach, and pulls out a gigantic yellow snake, a python, if you will. Why was it in there?
Fingers her belly button a little bit, and then, woo, magic.
Yeah, why was it in there? I don't know. But as he's pulling out this snake, there's the group of rich people who are just like shouting like weird Latin. You know, there's like guards there with like KKK hats that are just red. I don't know. It's a devil worshippers ritual scene. You know, it's very cheesy, but it's pretty funny. So he pulls out the snake, brings it over to Lieutenant Margolis, who remember was a twist villain, who's now completely naked and also covered in mud. Which, fun fact, so Jeffrey Combs was actually not there at the filming of that scene. He was green screened. He was green screened in later. I know. So like, if you actually pay,
what?
I know.
The fuck?
If you actually pay attention to like when he's actually on screen, like so, unlike shots that are like from far away, that's a body double. But like when it's actually close up on his face, like you can tell he's green screened in. It's insane.
No, you know what? Hold up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing this right now.
Oh.
I'm doing this right now.
Oh, he's doing it right now.
Where's the DVD? Where is it? Where did I put it? Where did I put this? Hold up. Yes, I am stalling this podcast just to look this up right now. No effing way he was green screen. There is no way. Where did I put it? Where did I put that DVD? I know my microphone's picking all this up.
It is. I could hear you.
No, I mean, I'm sure you can hear me.
Oh yeah, but like the actual recording, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna play like I'm
gonna put it on and I'm gonna be like, where is this scene?
Yeah, where is this scene?
There's.
Well, I guess I can take this opportunity while we take a break from describing the plot to say that yes, folks, we actually have Faust on DVD.
Found it.
Okay, good. Excellent. Yeah, so fun fact about the whole Faust DVD thing. Mordo convinced me to buy this on eBay because he found it on eBay. And I wanted this to be the DVD version because apparently this movie is on VHS. And as funny as it would be to have Faust as the occasional VHS tape, it just wouldn't be the same because apparently that VHS tape is the R-rated version, which kind of cuts around and like, you know, kind of edits the movie a little more so then it's not as gory and sexual, which, yeah, I'm sure you can show the kiddies, but again, like, the point of Faust is that it's, you know, really depraved and really fucked up. And I want it as fucked up as it can be. So I want the unrated DVD version.
I think the struggle we had with it at first is that, you know, I think it was like what? Not too expensive, but like kind of expensive, or it's like.
Well, my biggest issue was trying to find this DVD anywhere. Like, it was not at Bull Moose. It was definitely not at any major place like Best Buy or Target or Walmart or whatever.
No, of course. Like, you're not gonna have luck finding it at those stores.
Exactly. So, and like Amazon was no help. Like, the only reason I found this DVD was finding it on eBay. Like, it is a very hard DVD to find. Now, again, tit puddle. It's not exactly hard to figure out why this movie's not very easy to find. Like, I can't imagine, you know, the people who made this DVD were particularly proud of it. Oh, fun fact. You know who distributed this DVD?
Oh, I think I know.
Our friends at Lionsgate.
Lionsgate.
Yeah,
Woo!
Lionsgate. They just keep hitting those home runs, man.
They are the gift that keeps on giving.
I love Lionsgate. I love Lionsgate, Charlie. So, have you found the scene yet?
Oh, I'm at the scene. I'm just like, hold on. Yeah. All right, he's got the snake.
Yeah.
Wait.
It's the scene where he's like, it's the shot where he's like looking directly at the camera. You can tell it's a little blurry around him.
Is it the part where he says, "I am the truth"?
Yes. He was green screened into that. He was not actually there when they filmed the actual scene.
Wait, yeah. Let me go back a bit so I can hear him like.
Yeah.
I know this is stupid of me to prolong the podcast, but like, no, I need to see this like live for myself.
I know. Yeah, no, it's, again, this is like the scene with the bridge. I was shocked to find out it's not actually above a body of water. It's actually...
No, this is my bridge. This is my bridge moment.
Yeah, it was finding out that Jeffrey Combs was green screened.
He was green screen like. Oh, wait. Oh my god. I feel like I can see like a bit of like a green outline, like that's like it's shading on like one side of his head.
Yeah, exactly.
What the fuck?
I know. I would have never known had Brian not said in the director's commentary. But I'm glad he said, because you know what? We needed that information. That was important information.
This movie is just a film that just keeps on giving, ladies and gentlemen. What can I say?
Exactly. So, do you want to get back into talking about the ritual?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Let's get back to the thing. I've sold long enough.
So, Jeffrey Combs gets a snake in the mouth. So the snake that was in the womb of Claire is now being fed to him because for some reason this will summon the homunculus. Yes, folks. The ultimate monster in this movie is called the homunculus. I'm not joking. It's what it's called. So then Faust enters the situation. He crashes through the window, and we get him fighting a bunch of the red guards, the red KKK guards. And then he notices Jade, and Jade is just not the Jade we've come to know and love. Well, we don't know her that much. We just know her terrible backstory, and to say we like her is pretty out there too. Huh. But you know what? Gosh darn it, Brian had a dream, and that dream was Faust, love of the damned. So anyway, Faust is just heartbroken to see his terrible girlfriend being a terrible person. And so then they turned
her into a slut.
They turned her into a slut, Morty.
She's called me Morty.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But so then Faust turns back into John Jaspers, and he's just out of it. He's just so depressed that his current girlfriend is long gone too. And the homunculus is here. It's this actually pretty impressive looking puppet. It looks like a snake mixed with the Rancor from Return of the Jedi. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, it's obviously a puppet, but it's a cool looking puppet is the thing. So then Jade is about to sacrifice Faust. M is just go and sacrifice him because...
Kill him. Kill him now.
Yeah, exactly. And she goes over and cuts the rope that was around his hands, and that gives him the motivation to be Faust again. Right? Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, also the homunculus turns all the rich people that were in the blood orgy on fire, and they're all dead now. Blah. Whatever.
What? Okay.
So now Faust is fighting the homunculus, and
very badly, mind you.
Very badly, yeah, because the homunculus has its super laser piss coming out of its head, and it's purple, and it's like, and Faust is just floating there, like, I can't fight you. And so then Jade goes over to like sneak up on M, and M flashes his cum man persona to like
scare.
Yeah, to scare Jade, and Jade's like, it won't work this time. Cause I don't know. Apparently, she's over the fact that she was molested as a child. I don't know. It's
okay.
Yeah, it's not explained very well. So she stabs M, and that gives power to Faust, or it takes away power from the homunculus. And so Faust stabs the homunculus in like the fucking head, and the homunculus is defeated, and it spirals down like a toilet into like the place where it came from.
And then M somehow just teleports where it was at all of a sudden.
Yeah, and now M's like just floating in the air, and he's just like, I'm still not defeated yet. It's just like, okay, why? So Faust can't defeat M because according to their contract, Faust can't fight him because that's in the contract, and so he's unable to fight M. But then Jade says, hey, get rid of the contract so then he can fight you. And he's like, okay, only because I'm going to have sex with you, Jade, and you're going to birth my homunculus. And she's like, okay. And so then the contract is gone. And then he's like, all right, let's get to it. And Jade goes, you not quite. You should have done your homework. Because when I was raped when I was 11, the scars weren't only mental. I have no womb. And it's like, whoa, what a twist. What a reveal. But
oh my God.
But then,
well, dang it. I'm out of here. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah, so then M at first is like, I thrive on the impossible. But then Faust just stabs him and he dies. And that's the end of M.
Okay.
It's just like, it's like, wow, movie. That was.
Well, you have no room. You know what? I changed my mind. Faust, just fucking kill me.
Yeah. he just becomes fire and nothing. And then we get the last shot of the movie. Well, last two shots of the movie. So.
Yeah, it's like directed weird.
So Faust and Jade are still in the church, but then they also filmed a scene of Faust and Jade on the bridge, the very special, the iconic Faust bridge. But it makes no sense. I think I know what they're going for. It's supposed to be metaphorical that they're talking on the bridge and then he jumps off, and in the scene where he jumps off the bridge, in the ritual scene, he's like, or the church scene, because the ritual's over. In the church scene, he like dies, but it's filmed very confusingly. It doesn't really match up. But yeah, Faust dies, and Jade is depressed and crying. And then, boom, the movie's over. Credits start rolling.
No happy ending. He's dead. She's sad. Dogs and cats live together, mass hysteria.
Yeah, what a film. And then we get
does Brian even like explain why there's like two different scenes of them talking?
So, well, first of all, he says that the final shot of the film with them like, kind of with him like lying down on the floor dead and her like crying over his body, that was the final shot they filmed of the movie. Which he says that never happens, but that's just how it ended up being, was that was like the final shot they filmed. He basically is saying like, it's a little confusing, but he personally thinks it went just fine, but it's just like, Brian, come on, Brian. Like,
Brian.
Look, Brian sounds like a really nice guy. Every time he was talking about other people, like, who worked on the movie throughout. Like, he was talking about Screaming Mad George, who did the effects. Screaming Mad George is why we have Tit Puddle in the homunculus.
Thank you, Screaming Mad George.
Yeah, he was just complimenting him, like, oh, he's a super nice guy. He was doing really well. He was What's really funny is there's this one part of the commentary where he, like, accidentally, like, says the writer... the way he says it is really funny because they left it in. There's a part where he's talking about the writer of the movie, David Quinn, and how he the way he describes David Quinn, like talking, like writing the movie, is he goes, yeah, he really watered down the source material. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant he sifted through the source material. And I'm like, oh, Brian, like, obviously it sounds like Brian genuinely does have respect for his coworkers and his peers who worked on the movie. But it's just really funny hearing him say that and then immediately correct himself to be like, oh, if I say they watered it down, then that sounds bad. Like, that means I'm admitting this movie is bad, but I think the movie's good. Oh, he sifted through. It's just
kind of sus.
Yeah, it was just really funny. But here's the other thing with Brian Usna. The way he describes the credits, because even though the movie's over and the credits are rolling, you think, oh, movie over, right? But he kept on talking over the credits because that's what you do with commentaries. And I just have to mention, like, so he was talking about credit culture, like how, credits are, written up. And he was talking about how some studios have very limited credits on them. So, like, for example, he brought up how Screaming Mad George's studio, I forget what it's called, but, like, those special effects, like, every person who works at that studio that worked on the movie is credited. Like, every single one of those people is credited. But then you get to...
That's good.
That is very good. But then you get to the VFX artists, and, like, only the studios for the VFX are credited, not individual, like, CGI artists. And he was, like, talking about, like, how weird that is. And it was interesting because this is, like, a commentary from... I have to imagine from, like, the early 2000s or, like, sometime in the 2000s, because this is not, like, a very newish DVD. It's a very old DVD at this point, like close to 20 years at this point. And it was just really fascinating hearing about that. And, considering the year we've had with, like, huge movies having people work on it that go uncredited, like the whole VFX studios and, like, the shit they go through over the last few years with, like, the Marvel movies and just, like, the whole Spider-Verse debacle where, like, that studio was, like, under shit conditions, even though they were making such a great movie. Like, the conditions for them working was just horrible. And then, with all the recent strikes that have been happening because of people, like, not getting paid equally, like, it was just really fascinating to hear that while watching Faust of all movies bringing this up,
Yeah.
So I just wanted to mention that. It seems Brian was aware of that, and it was just really interesting to hear. And to top it all off, he ends his commentary by saying, this movie was quite the experience. His words. Which, yeah, you'd really hit the nail on the head there, Brian. Faust is quite the experience. So, Mordo, I mean, Faust, man, like, it's Faust. Like, I think we've established that, but, like, I mean, what is it about this movie that, like, just fascinates you,
Well, I'd probably say, like, maybe it's just that, so I can definitely say for sure is that I was not there when you first showed it to everyone. I don't know where the hell I was at, but I was not there when everyone else saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think, like, I was very curious to know, like, why is this movie so special to you, and why are you so desperate to show it to everyone? And so you showed it to me one night, and there I am, and I'm just like, oh my god, I get it. and thus I might as well talk about my first ever review I had with this. I kind of went on just on a bit of a ramble with this. So, like, I never saw this first with the group, but since, like, it's not much happened today, Hal just showed it to me, and all right, let me get this straight. Palpatine-looking ass is the Prince of Hell, and turns someone into Rover Lane, then turns into this Morbius Devil Man. Oh, I never compared him to Devil Man. Holy shit, I was wondering why something felt off with me comparing Faust lately.
Yeah.
It's just Devil Man.
Yeah.
And, oh my god, what the fuck? IRL inflation? Okay, why why I've seen weird shit, but I thought I've seen enough crazy shit like fried berry. But what was that? And why is there a cum monster? There's a snake coming out of her belly button. And why am I cursed to witness all the visual childbirth? Fuck you, Barry. But I cheered when he said it's Fausting time, and then he Fausted all over the place. And I fucking clapped when he said, I'm the pornography that gets you hot.
Yeah.
Banger line. And then it just ends like that, like, okay. Overall, what a fucking fever dream. Worth the hype. Would not watch again, which, that age. Anyway, now, how? I'm gonna kiss your ass.
Yeah, exactly. But that's
5 stars.
5 stars. Well, let me explain. So you gave it the full 5 stars. I still have it at 4.5 stars because
Big fan.
Well, because I'm afraid of giving it the full 5 stars is the thing. Because
why?
Well, this is not your average so bad it's good movie. Like, it's not a very good movie. It's told kind of weirdly. Some things don't add up. You know, there's a lot of plot holes. And it just feels very try-hard in its edginess. Because, like we said, the whole tit puddle thing, the whole, like, child molestation subplot, like, that's fucked up. But, like, you would never see
you're
that.
Right.
But no, I'm glad you've given it the full 5 stars because it is such a weird-ass movie. And I'm glad you can give it the full 5 stars because that's what it means to you. To me, though, this is not your average, like, so bad it's good film. Like, when I give something 5 stars, ironically, it's stuff like Morbius, which is so broken and so stupid that I love it with all my heart. Something like Suburban Sasquatch or Fungicide or The Co-Ed and the Zombie Stoner, like, or CIA, or like any number of these movies that are just so batshit insane.
I think I've seen Coda and the Zombie Stoner, didn't I?
That's one I'll have to show you someday.
There's so many like good ones I missed out on, like that, and then there was the Bar and Star one.
Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar.
Barb and Star, yeah. Because I think William was showing me like this one musical number from it, and I'm just like, wow, this shit's like so good.
Yeah.
I have to see this movie.
Oh, we'll show you Barb and Star someday. It's very good.
It better be like the next Earth Girls Are Easy for me.
It might be. But my point is, like, there's so many funny movies out there that I'll just assign the full 5 stars because they're just so funny. Like, I get so much enjoyment out of them. But Faust is something different. Faust is... It's honestly not funny at times. Like, it can get boring. It can get really fucked up. But at the same time, I can't get my eyes off of it. Like, that's the thing with this movie. Faust is something special. Like, it changed me. Like, it, honest to God, changed me. I'm like, wow, I can't believe a movie like this exists. And even then, like, over the past year of watching it several times, especially with that director's commentary, and hearing such a normal-sounding guy as Brian Usna describe this movie as if it's like just a job, like just another job to him. Because again, he directed several movies. Like, this was just another one he directed. And obviously he sounded proud of his work on it, but at the same time, like, the way he was describing it was just like, yeah, like, this happened and that happened and yada, yada, yada. Like, he treated it like it was like any other job to him. And that just fascinated me because you and me, we watched this movie and were horrified by it. You know, our friends watch this movie and they're even more horrified by it. Like, anybody who watches this movie and comes out of it saying, my God, what the fuck did I just watch, is the most normal thing you can do while watching Faust. And it just fascinates me to no end that not only is this depraved weirdo movie exist, but that it was made by somebody as normal sounding as Brian motherfucking Usna. Like, no matter how I look at this movie, it boggles my mind no matter what. Like, as a movie itself, the behind the scenes, the guy who made it, just everything about this movie just fascinates me to the point that I had to make it episode 69. I had to make it its own solo episode. Like, I had to talk about it because this is a movie that needs to be seen, to be believed. And I recommend anybody check it out. If you're going to check it out, though, listen to our commentary when we have it up. Again, it's going to be out soon, if it's not already out when this episode goes out. But, like, it just needs to be seen to be believed because, my God, it's just Faust, man. Like, that's it. That no other words can do it justice. It just is Faust, Love of the Damned.
Guys, this is a good movie.
Yeah, it is a good movie. So, Mordo, now's the time of the show, because I haven't done this in a while, because, again, the whole Friday the 13th thing, it's been a little weird with those movies, but we have to talk about this DVD. And we talked about it earlier. It's distributed by Lionsgate. It has this director's commentary. It has a bunch of trailers for other Brian Yuzna films. Yeah.
Oh, how?
Yeah.
There's a production commentary.
Oh, that I got to listen to the next time I watch this movie. Like,
I'm surprised we didn't do that to be prepared for this commentary. Now I feel like we're going to miss out on something.
Oh, but that's the thing, though. That's why I bought this DVD. So then I can experience that. Like, that's the thing.
But now we won't be able to talk about what happened in the production commentary.
Oh, we'll get to it someday, Mordo. This is not the end of Faust, this episode. That's the thing. Faust will never go away, okay? Just because we're making an episode on it does not mean it will go away. It will be here forever. Like, even if I never made an episode on it, even if I never owned this DVD, Faust would always be there because, again, it changed me. I will never see film the same way again after watching Faust. That's literally the case here. Like, it is so interesting, and I just have to talk about it. And so, yeah, this Faust will never go away, Mordo. It will never, ever leave us.
Good.
So, I guess this is also the part of the show where we say, hey, are we keeping this? I think it's pretty safe to say, yes, we are keeping this.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely.
I mean, so here's the thing. There is a Blu-ray release of Faust. It's an Arrow Blu-ray, and it's UK exclusive. Just kind of fucked up. Like, why can't we get that over here? Like, come on.
Arrow, re-release it, you cowards.
Yeah, but even if they released it over here in the States, honestly, I think I'm pretty comfortable with having this movie on its DVD because it's early 2000s schlock. You remember when we talked about Panic Room? Like, that's a schlocky early 2000s movie. And I want that on, like, an early 2000s DVD. I feel like that kind of adds to the schlockiness of it. This, kind of the same thing. Like, it's a schlocky early 2000s movie. I want that shit on a nice plain DVD. Would it be nice to own on, like, a nice 4K? Like, honestly, a 4K from Vinegar Syndrome of this movie would go so fucking hard. I don't know if they'll ever do it.
Vinegar Syndrome would totally like do this.
I mean,
like that sort of thing than Arrow.
Listen, yeah, they should. Vinegar Syndrome should do this because they've done Showgirls. They have absolutely no excuse not to do Faust, unless the rights to the film are really expensive. In which case, yes, I get that. But if you're doing it from a moral standpoint, knock knock, Vinegar Syndrome, you did Showgirls. You have no excuse.
We're going to go on their site just to contact them and be like, hey, I have a request.
Yeah.
Faust of the Damned.
Please. It would be so amazing. Honestly, I would buy Vinegar Syndrome would be the only company I would buy a 4K of Faust from. They're the only ones. Honestly.
Unless Arrow finally does something like crazy and actually release it here for the US.
Yeah. So. But yeah, Mordo. Is there anything else you have to say about Faust before we wrap things up?
Yeah, actually I might do. There's another thing why it means to me. You know, the more I think about it, the more, like, I feel like I want to write a story, not exactly similar to this, but to the point of where, like, it's like you have this heroic character, but it's not much of more of a... he's looked in the eye as a hero, but more as just someone that exists. And someone that was, like, given here from... Like, I have this story that I have been working on for a long time. This goes along with all, like, the lore and creations I've done.
Mm-hmm.
To where I have this story where it's imagine, yeah. So it's something similar, I guess, in the way similar to Faust, where he's down on his luck. He hasn't had the best life growing up. Probably had the thought of killing himself.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, he was given a second chance at life.
Mm.
But with that, he was given the strength to fight. And so with that, I created this character for this project called Immorto. And it's about this character named Mordius who comes back to life and is this god-slain human being. And I have this concept where like he has a sword, but he can like summon it through like the the cross scar on his chest.
Okay,
and
yeah.
pulls it out. And I imagine like if I were ever like making like an animated series or just something out of it's gonna be brutal. It's going to be like dark as fuck.
Yes.
And I know how it's gonna end and everything. I have like characters for it. And like, and as it goes on, like you think like this guy's supposed to be a hero to give this world worth saving. But as it goes on, Mordius thinks about how the world has become and think that there's no way he could, protect it or save it or just change it. So the only way to do that is to destroy it. So he can create a world of his own with his own imaginations and everything. And this goes along with, because think of it, this character is myself in a way. And this can go like how like I want to make a world with all my creations. But to do that, I have to destroy the world God created. And that's the idea. Like Immorto, and the more I thought about it, the more I want to like make Immorto to be like, it has like dark religious themes to it as it goes on.
Right.
So it's like, think about how like Mordius is a way of like an agent of God. He was like God revived him to be like this savior. But in a way, think about how every human on Earth is like a puppet to God. They're all strings and how everything. What if one person were to cut the strings from God and take advantage of himself? To where if God made a mistake of creating this human being, therefore he can't do anything about it. Therefore, as it goes on, I dethroned God, tried to create a world of my own.
Yeah, so it's like so with him like cut off from the strings, like every choice he makes, kind of like, it's his choice. Like he's the only one with like free will at that point.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
That's
in which case that opens
so,
up the possibilities of him being more like anti-hero-ish. Yeah. No, I think that's fascinating.
Yes, I think that was the goal.
Yeah.
And I imagine like if I ever like any here. Let me show you, like, I think I've shown, like, you've seen what he looks like. I posted it, like, in Dick Cheney art at one point.
You might have, yeah.
Yeah. But, that was my idea for it. And this would go along how he'll, like, in the end, he'll lose everything, which is causing him to, like, go, like, completely berserk and just destroy the entire planet to where he becomes truly God himself.
Yeah.
And he can't, he regrets what he's done. And to where, to the point where all he can do is recreate the world, but not in his own way. But in a way, like, he regrets what he's done, and all he can do is try to, like, recreate the world, but in his own way, to where he can make it a bit better. He also creates, like, a personal world for himself just to hide away from, so he won't have to hurt anyone again. And this goes along with, all my other creations, like James Destiny, Excalibur, all that sort of jazz, but that's a story for another day.
Right.
But anyway, yeah, this is what Mordius looks like. It's this bum. It's nothing, like, heroic to him. He's just, like, this bum-looking guy, with, like, a jacket on and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, and...
I plan to create, like, a lore book at some point. I have, like, this sketchbook where I just want to write everything out.
Yeah, and Faust is very, like, inspirational to this, right?
I guess so, in a way, but, like... I've had this idea for a long while, like...
Yeah.
This is, like... I had this idea since, like, I was, like, an Iris fan, which is a music series.
I mean, yeah, but, like, think about it. Like, the fact that something like Faust can exist, like, anything's possible at that point. Like, if you have an idea... Go do it. Like, this is for, like, anybody any aspiring
this has been, like, my lifelong, like... story dream to make, and as I grow up, the more I have more ideas to this, I'm just like how it connects to everything. And I want to make this big universe something like MCU but better.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing.
I have a starting point and I have an end point.
Yeah, but that's the thing is like, if something like Faust can be made, like, what's your excuse? Like, go out, make something. Like Brian Yuzna did, and he made Tit Puddle. Like, sky's the limit in terms of what's possible.
Okay, but I ain't gonna have shit like that. Like,
no,
it's gonna be like legit, like real serious.
Yeah,
and
of
like
course.
imagine it's as brutal as like Invincible.
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, that's really inspiring. I think that's really cool. So, the power of Faust inspiring us all.
I cannot believe that.
But yeah, Faust. What a movie. What a film. What an experience.
I know, right?
So, Mordo, now's the time. Please, shout out your stuff. Where can people find you for those who don't know where to find you yet? I mean, you've been here before, but, still.
Well, the usual, like Twitter. You can find me on Twitter. I like... You can probably link my alt account, Arthur Mordius, as it goes by. You'll see some more drawings of this Mordius character there, because I'll just use it for sketch stuff. Well, I'll just use it just to post dumb photos of myself or edits. I don't know.
Yeah, and obviously your letterbox will be there.
Oh yeah, of course my letterbox. If you guys want to see where I talk about movies and such,
like Faust.
Yeah, like Faust. Yes. Yeah, there's that. My YouTube channel. I make content. I guess I have a Tumblr. I don't use it. I also have a Blue Sky. So those who have a code for Blue Sky, you can access that. I don't use it much, unlike my Tumblr, but they're there just in case Twitter shits itself one day. I find it funny how I wanted to say this earlier. I find it funny how you leave Twitter, right? You come back for too many movies.
Yeah.
And then you just no, I'm done.
Wow. I know I left the second time because I'm like, what? I literally have nothing. I'm not missing it. Is the thing is after I left the second time, I'm just like because the first time I left, I felt like I was missing out. And so then I recreated another account for the podcast. But then as I was doing it again, I'm like, wow, I seriously was missing nothing. I don't miss it at all. If I'm going to talk to you guys, I talk to you guys on Discord. If I'm going to post something, I'm going to post it on YouTube. If I have opinions on movies, I'm going to post that on Letterboxd. I have all these different outlets that I can post things on. Twitter just was not for me. Or, I'm sorry, X.com,
Oh, yeah, of course. Now, with you, at least you have strength to let go of Twitter. For me, it's I've been on here for so long. I've left so many memories. I can't just burn it all away.
Sure. No, sure.
I'd want to, but I don't know where else to go.
Trust me, it was not an easy decision both times. But now that I've experienced it, I've realized, no, I don't regret it. Is the thing, it is what it is. But yeah, no, all your links will be down in the description below, as per usual.
Hell yeah.
And obviously, you'll be back someday to talk about more Nolan stuff.
Of course. Yeah, we said, Interstellar is going to be, I guess, the next episode, like we mentioned earlier.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that when we'll get to that. But... thanks for coming on, Mordo. I mean, you were like I said, you were the only person that could have come on for the Faust episode.
Hey, this has been fun. This has been a blast. Happy, be here. And, I'm always free to, come back anytime. Doesn't have to be Nolan or anything like that.
Of course.
Yeah.
Serious.
I enjoy being on here.
Of course.
I don't think there's any other person you'd talk about this with me.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I'm happy I'm that guy.
Exactly.
Happy 69 episodes, everybody.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you'll excuse me, Mordo, I unfortunately have to get back to talking about Friday the 13th.
Yes, of course.
I kind of left William eating his Jersey Mike's sandwich for an entire week, so I hope in that time he watched the last 4.
How does someone just eat a sandwich that slowly?
I told him to enjoy the sandwich last episode while I go and do this episode, but that was a week ago. I hope he watched the movies while he was eating that sandwich. I better go check on him.
Okay, yeah, you better go check on him. Yeah. Right now, I'm going to go to Jersey Mike's now that I think about it. I've never tried that. Are they good?
Yeah, they're very good.
Okay.
I recommend it. Yeah.
All right, I'm out of here.
All right, bye.
Bye. Want anything?
Yeah, give me the Italian. No, wait, I gotta get another sandwich. That's not an Italian. I'm just so addicted to their Italians. They're so fucking good.
True. All right, no, you go check on Will. I'll go get your sandwich.
Okay, thank you.
Bye, Chad.
So anyway, see you folks next week for Friday the 13th Part 3. Okay, bye. Just